Good evening, folks. Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, let's get it poppin'. The Yonkers Tribune Comment Edition. Join me. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, let's get it poppin'. Let's talk about the allegations of assault against the majority leader, the Yonkers Tribune article defending her, as well as the Yonkers PBA demanding a contract after working without one for 3 years. Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me tonight. I want to discuss the allegations of assault against the majority leader, Tasha Diaz. I mentioned it first on Basement Politics, and then the Yonkers Tribune wrote an article about it, mostly defending her and attacking witnesses. And I also want to go over the comments. I also want to discuss the Yonkers Police Department working without a contract for 3 years. YPBA, I'm sorry, is it YBA? Is that what it is? YBA? President Keith Olson writing an op-ed in the Yonkers Times talking about it. I want to go over that, as well as the Yonkers Tribune writing their article criticizing the president and as well as the Yonkers Police Department. First, I want to talk about the Elizabeth Weinstein, a woman who was arrested recently for violating her restraining order, apparently for telling her kids that she loved them. I had her on the show not too long ago. She had her kids taken away from her by her husband, and she's been fighting to get them back ever since. She's been fighting to see her kids ever since. Her husband admitted to engaging or being attracted to pedophilia, as he had been molested as a child. She showed me the text messages. And it's a very sad and horrible story, but it's not unique, unfortunately. And I just want to play this real quick.
Under some scrutiny tonight, News 12's Blaze Gomez has this exclusive story.
50-year-old Elizabeth Weinstein has been involved in a family court legal battle involving her kids over the past 2 years. But on July 3rd, her case took a drastic turn.
I'm in solitary confinement.
Weinstein spoke exclusively with News 12 from inside Westchester County Jail. The mother of 3 has been held there without bail on a misdemeanor charge for 2 weeks.
I'm detained in solitary confinement by Judge Stuart A. Halper, Briarcliff Manor, for a 7:30 competency exam.
Weinstein's attorney, George Fritz, hasn't said her detainment is illegal, but confirms to News 12 that she's currently incarcerated for allegedly violating a family court restraining order. A News 12 legal expert and source we spoke to, however, says holding Weinstein without bail could be in violation of criminal procedural laws and mental hygiene laws, adding there's no set time frame for a competency exam, but that the evaluation can be done outside of jail. The case has garnered widespread attention since I first posted about it on social media last week, with critics and supporters questioning why she's being held on a misdemeanor when many felony crimes are bail eligible or subject to an appearance ticket.
Isn't that something? She's being held on a misdemeanor when we have real criminals out there being released on this bail reform stuff and reoffending literally within hours, victimizing people. And this poor woman is just trying to see her kids and get custody. Today, actually, there was another Westchester News 12 report indicating that the reason she was arrested and what she did to violate her restraining order was that she simply told her kids, according to News 12, that she loved them. Apparently, she's not supposed to communicate at all with her kids. But I mean, if you're a parent, come on. And she's been called crazy. She said people say she's kind of out there, and they've said that maybe that's all her fault because she's not. But you have to understand, if you love your kids as a parent and they're taken away from you, I think that would drive any parent crazy. And believe me, I've been through a similar experience. Although my kids were not removed from my home, I have wicked, evil people falsely called CPS on me. And I spoke about that in the podcast. And I almost went crazy. And they weren't taken from me. So we have to respect this woman and what she's going through. And if she is now suffering from mental health as a result of this horrible ordeal, then putting her in jail in a cage is not the way to go about it. And I just wanted to mention that because she was on the show, and I support the lady, and I support a lot of other families who are dealing with family court and CPS. And for whatever reason, they seem to protect individuals who have been accused of or even convicted of pedophilia. So you can go back and check that out, and I have more details on it and her interview on the podcast. News 12 keeps posting half the story. I keep posting her link. These people are evil. Yeah, it's very evil. And a lot of people are not privy to some of the information that I've seen. So, I understand that you may not have a, easy time or buying it or believing her maybe, but I do. I most certainly believe her from what I've seen, 1,000%. Husband must know someone in high places. Absolutely right. And I'm glad you mentioned that because her husband is a very, very successful attorney who went to a very prestigious law school, and he knows the judges, the police chiefs of Briarcliff Manor very well. And they all do, because they all have probably gone to school together or somehow been around each other and built relationships over time. And I explained that part of it more also in the interview. She talks about those relationships that her husband has with with people in very high places. And she has no chance. I mean, the woman, these are multi-millionaires, right? So this happens to anybody. Doesn't matter, your economic status, your color of your skin. This is an issue that everyone deals with and is dealing with currently. So just check it out if you want to. I got more information there on the interview that I did with her about a couple months ago. So check that out. So I want to talk next about Yonkers PBA, right? So the Yonkers police have been working without a contract for the past 3 years. Recently, there was this big issue with the moped. I spoke about it last night on my podcast. I talked about the city officials not wanting to release the body cam footage from the moped incident on that Nepperhan now, just before you get to Elm Street. See, what we all saw at first was just a woman being detained by police. She was on the floor, and then we saw the hip-hop legend Styles P yelling at the police officer, getting in his face, cursing at him, calling him names. And because of that, the city officials did not want to release it. They gave the individual the key to the city, and they just, in their mind, did not want to release it because it would be bad for them. But what about the police officers who are now being criticized for the way they handled that situation based off just a piece of the video? And it did make a difference because I noticed, and I'm sure others have, in reading comments on pages like the Yonkers Voice and others where the video was posted, people were commenting that once they saw the entire video, it made a difference. They understood why the police were having to do what they did. It exonerated the police officer, and you could see it in his face in the video that he knew this was going to be an incident bigger than, a normal arrest because, one, it included a hip-hop legend, well-known individual, so it was going to go viral. And two, they had video of it. People were there. People were watching. Right? So I'm glad that they released it. Police wanting to release it. Officials did not wanting to release it. They were going back and forth, but ultimately it was released and they had to. How are you going to throw the Yonkers police under the bus? Does our city officials not respect and appreciate the Yonkers Police Department? Well, according to Yonkers union, PBA union president Keith Olson, they don't. They don't respect and appreciate the Yonkers for doing the police for doing the great job they have. And Yonkers is a special place. He goes on to say, as a lifelong resident of Yonkers, more than 33-year veteran of the Yonkers Police Department, and as president of the Yonkers Police Benevolence Association, I have said that phrase countless times. Yonkers is a special place. I have said it sarcastically. I have said it euphemistically. I can't even pronounce the word. But more than anything, I have said it and meant it quite literally. Yonkers truly is a special place. And I agree. I love Yonkers too. And I hate it at the same time. It's one of those things, it's weird. When you're not here, you miss it, and I want to get back home. And then when you're here, you're arguing and yelling and cursing things out. One of the many things that makes Yonkers so special is how incredibly safe the community is, safe a community we are. And that's one of the things that many the elected officials tout, that for the size of the city, we are very safe compared to other cities our size. Doesn't feel that way, especially with the recent gun violence over the weekend, right? So, but that's what they say. Statistically, I guess, right? While we often hear about Yonkers being one of the safest cities of our size, and while our elected officials frequently laud the amazing work that our police officers do, our level of safety is often taken for granted. Right. For me, the issue of safety was put in great perspective when my son moved to Rochester, Buffalo region last year. As I looked at crime statistics comparing Yonkers to the cities in Western New York, I became unnerved, worried for the welfare of my son. So he's saying that other cities, just the same size as Yonkers, are a lot more dangerous. Right. So he's basically saying that we do a great job. The Yonkers Police Department does a great job, keeping Yonkers safe, considering the size, and it's increasing even more as people are continuing to move in. The Yonkers Police Department is arguably the best police department in the country in every metric imaginable, he goes on to say, right? Sadly, there are things at play in Yonkers City Hall that is destroying the morale of our police officers. And I would imagine one of those things would be, not wanting to show the footage, not caring about police officers' safety and, the way people perceive them out there in the street, especially when they're doing their job, right? In recent years, appointed city officials have shown a disappointing lack of support for some of our most vulnerable police officers, those who have been seriously injured in the performance of their duties. These same city officials have forced us into wasteful litigation regarding issues involving police officers' contractual rights, made us deal with needless policies attacking our officers that have become pregnant, and have forced upon us haphazard policies dealing with COVID-19. So city officials are giving pregnant police officers a hard time while they drive around in free cars, free gas, free insurance. Wildly, I must say, because I've heard someone else comment about some of our elected officials and they're driving in these city cars. I've seen it myself. Most importantly and most damaging to our morale is that Yonkers police officers have worked without a contract for more than 3 years. While the police unions have attempted to meet as often as possible with the city in an attempt to negotiate a fair deal, the city has dragged this process out for far too long. To assist in negotiations, city officials have squandered hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars on high-priced attorneys rather than reward their most dedicated first responders. And this is what I spoke about yesterday. And this is why I wanted to do the podcast today, because it goes along the line of what I was mentioning with yesterday about wasteful spending. Show me the money was the title of that podcast. Where's the money going? How is the officials managing the money that's coming in? Taxpayer money. We work hard, we pay taxes, yet we don't seem to get anything in return for that. I mean, look at the roads. Look at the roads. Horrible, right? We get nothing, and they don't talk about that. They don't mention any of that, but they're busy naming every month for some kind of whatever, right? And think they're doing something. Unbelievable. And they waste money. They're doing the same thing with that Mike Cater investigation because they're still got that investigation going on, and they're paying independent attorneys and independent investigators just to keep this man down for the elections. And this all, in my opinion, also has to do with the elections. Stall on the contracts till the elections come up, and then work out negotiate a contract, but include that you must endorse X, Y, and Z for whatever position, right? And that's what happens. And that's what we saw last year when we saw the police union change their endorsement on the city council president. So that's what it's all. It's a political game. It's political football. The city of Yonkers has failed to negotiate fairly with their amazing police officers, and that is unacceptable. It is this slow but steady dismantling of morale that can destroy the fabric of a great police department like the Yonkers PD, like the YPD. There is more than enough reckless external antagonism in the world of policing to make our jobs harder, and the last thing the city of Yonkers should be doing is manufacturing more. Our fine officers who've worked without a contract through the pandemic, a nationwide violent crime surge, through social unrest and anti-police atmosphere deserve much better. Our community deserves better as well. Yonkers is a special place. Let's keep it that way. Demand a fair contract now for Yonkers police officers. And it really does seem like they don't appreciate the women and men who wear the uniform, put on that badge, go out there in the street and keep everyone safe. I mean, people are carrying guns, right? We've seen it over the weekend. 6 people shot. A woman was shot on Sunday in a domestic dispute on Main Street. And those are the most dangerous calls I hear, because people are just, their emotions are crazy. They go to an apartment or to a home and people are fighting. They're ready, enraged, and some have weapons. So why have they gone 3 years without a contract? I don't understand that. Why has it been 3 years? They will get a sweetheart contract. They deserve it. The mayor's playing hard to get. Who did Keith piss off? I don't know. Must have pissed somebody off, because the Yonkers Tribune is talking about him as well. The Yonkers Police Benevolent Association are not happy campers. They feel underappreciated. The reference that they have not garnered a pay increase for 3 years, for some 3 years. The subtle, albeit evident gathering at Rory Dolan's watering hole on Tuesday let the cat out the bag. YPD feel underappreciated. They want more money. It seems they are barely scraping by. Oh my. This is Hezi writing. How do they sustain themselves? Perhaps only PBA President Keith Olson knows. Alas, his eloquent, albeit groveling for more from Yonkers City Hall is an outright threat of a looming job action. The men, women in blue feel underappreciated, asserts Olson. They expect Yonkers Mayor Mike Spano to capitulate their taunt and implied threats. It won't be their first time employing such tactics. One can only suppose that Mayor Mike Spano won't cave to their nauseating routine, even though it worked for over 10 years already. Will Mayor Spano give PBA President Keith Olson a retirement gift? Why? Even if Yonkers could afford it, what is the basis or rationale by which any of the YPD deserve a raise? You know, and I hope the YPD and Yonkers Police understand that the individuals that are behind this guy, Hezi, who encourage him and tell him to write this, are individuals like Nader Sayed, Zahi Jarris, Tasha Diaz is a part of it. And I hope you guys are not covering up that assault thing. You know, put it out there, because she's a part of this crew, this Yonkers Tribune crew. Where's Hezi Media, whatever, is located in Nader Sage's office building that he owns. To say that, why does the Yonkers Police deserve a raise? I mean, that's a dangerous job. Have they validated their conduct as forthright and respectful under the Aggies of PBA President Keith Olson? Not quite. Olson's conduct has been extortionist, and Mayor Mike Spano must not acquiesce this guy to the outrageous tactics that have been embedded into Yonkers history for decades. Enough is enough. Well, Keith Olson sued Hezi. He lost. Judge rules that online blogger Hezi Aris, Yonkers Tribune, is not a journalist, and this had to do with, articles that he was just writing about Keith Olson, and allegations and innuendos and rumors he was writing that had no basis or merit. Because I may tell you something here in Basement Politics, but trust me, it's coming from somewhere. So what do you folks think? Do they deserve a raise? They definitely should be with a contract after 3 years. Who's right? The city officials or the Yonkers Police Department? When City Hall has to appeal to this rag, you know who's in the right. Stick to your guns, PBA. The unions who haven't given up are counting on you. Tim Hodges is mulling a run for mayor with the backing of Jarris and a few unions. He can win. Well, Jarris is behind this article right here. Just so you guys know out there. Too bad Barry can't get no votes. All YFD live out of the city. Timmy should just go away. He couldn't even beat Morante. Spelled it wrong. I know one thing's for sure. No one is illegally gassing up behind the first precinct. You hear that, watchdog groups? Definitely nobody's doing that because it would be wrong. You're getting free gas at the first precinct of it, that's what he's saying. Keith Olson is a big wine bag that should be on the city payroll. That should not be on the city payroll. Ask Detective Sullivan's family if Olson watches out for his members. Keith is one of the smartest leaders. He knows the Spano-Levy game that's being played. Levy should pack it in. Spano needs to retire. Landy, Kavanaugh, Levy, Lizwaski, and Meyer. They are all washed up Republicans. Spano will be running this city for the next 50 years, pal. When is the last time that blob of shit has been on the street? I don't know. Myers is the Democratic Party chair. Pretty sure he's a lifelong Dem and will be running for mayor. I've heard that he may be running for mayor. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure. Mayor's a Spano Democrat. They planted him 35 years ago while Spanos were Republicans. He chaired Democrats for Spano at the time. He couldn't get elected dog catcher. Does the jewelry salesman working in the Office of Emergency Management still take his free car to Pelham Manor to go shopping on city time? Interesting. Well, folks, what do you think? You guys decide, make a decision. I put it out there. It's crazy. So I want to go now, moving on. Anyway, the Yonkers police have done a good job. I think they are, it's hard. It's a difficult job. I know police officers personally, not just here in Yonkers, but other places, and not just white cops. I know black cops and Hispanic cops. It's a tough job. And yes, there are some bad apples, but we also must take responsibility. Like, we must register our mopeds, have license plates on them, and please have insurance, okay? And don't ride them on the sidewalk, and don't try to run from the police, right? And city officials, don't ever try to throw the Yonkers police officers under the bus like that again. You could cause one of them to get injured over something that was not true, that didn't happen, but that was perceived because you folks didn't care. I mean, at least that. Maybe you don't want to give them raises, okay, but don't get them hurt out there. They don't need any more, extra hate and energy from people. Moving on. I spoke about the allegations of Majority Leader Tasha Diaz. Allegedly, she assaulted her mom's boyfriend in the building where she lives, Jefferson Towers, which happens to be an affordable housing building. And I mention that because she's also known as the Affordable Housing Ordinance Killer, right? I also mentioned yesterday that some witnesses said they saw what appeared to be the Majority Leader describing the car that she is known to drive, chasing an individual in another car in the downtown Yonkers area around the time that the allegations were made. Did it have something to do with that assault over at Jefferson Towers? And who's covering it up? Because I haven't heard anything about it, although my sources are very good. Something did happen. Even the Yonkers Tribune knows something happened, although he tried to write the most confusing article to confuse people in an attempt to defend the Majority Leader, because, again, that is the crew. Tasha Diaz, Zahi Jarris, Hezi, Nader. Remember that, YPD, and Keith, if you don't already know. A physical assault allegedly took place last week between an elected Yonkers politician and their relative and the person to whom they are married. Allegations and assertions grew and grew to eclipse the initial telling. In fact, a convoluted circumstances changed so rapidly the story Hezi, Torialine, and so-called integrity of facts were changing every syllable and by every witness, even those who claimed to be witness, yet corroborated proof of lacking. So people are saying they were witness. So this is not just me making this story up. There are people who are talking about it and claiming to have been a witness of this. And there's video in the building. So did they get video of this incident? She used to be the head of the Attendance Association. Did she have access to the video and make it disappear? Because when I went to do the reporting, when I first found out about it, I was in front of the building and the majority leader happened to be coming out. When I asked her if the allegations were true, of course, she denied them, but she did say there's video cameras there. It wouldn't have shown it, almost as if, yeah, I got to them and deleted it. So, yeah, there's video cameras there. You're not going to see anything, so nothing happened. But according to Hezi, something did happen. There are witnesses, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, right? Even so, YPD has chosen not to. He goes, while the altercation seemingly did take place, those who could or should have filed a complaint with the Yonkers Police Department have not, but maybe they feel threatened and unsafe to do so. They don't want to get retaliated on because she seems to be a badass, okay? Even so, YPD has chosen not to investigate, despite the fact that some have claimed they were physically assaulted. And why not? Why did no one investigate if there were claims that someone was physically assaulted? There's witnesses, right? YPD is not the judge and jury. Since an assault has been alleged, whether an elected official or not, why has the YPD chosen not to investigate? Yonkers may be best to remain deaf to the false narratives some will have you believe is news. Yeah, he's talking about people like me. Well, I want to go down to the comments and see what people are talking about. What are they saying? So what is the educational and career background of the involved elected official? And is their city car being claimed under income tax as per IRS regulations? I don't know. But I do know that she drives reckless in that car because I was behind her one time when they were trying to communicate with another vehicle in the middle lane, slowing down and holding up traffic, causing a dangerous situation in a city vehicle where the plate says City of Yonkers. I saw the Village Idiot podcaster, and that's me, if you don't know. So they love to write about me. But again, these are Frankie Jarris, the Jeffrey Sages. Jeffrey, did you get your tooth back? Jeffrey Sage got his tooth knocked out. I posted a picture of it. Probably because you talk crap like this. You can't fight. The secret to being a podcaster, read the Yonkers Tribune and try to imitate Yonkers Tribune, often imitated but never duplicated. They all lack the capacity of Hezi, Aris. Yeah. Stupid. Yonkers suffers many fools. Freddie should be arrested for perpetuating lies. Well, not one of them have been willing to come on my show and say that I'm a liar, call me a liar. You have the opportunity to rebuttal. I've given you that, but you don't come on because you know it's true. Okay? And all of you have an open invitation. Anyone I've ever said anything about, and you say it's not true, then come on and tell me that. Let's talk about it. Let's show everyone that it's not true. I'm willing to do that, and I'm always willing to stand corrected. No one's taken me up on the offer yet. Yonkers PD are notorious for corruption. Again, YPD, remember who's behind this. I have said this over and over again, and I say this with firsthand knowledge. I am not sure who this post is about, but I can tell you Yonkers PD does not care when it comes to defending one of their own. A friend of mine was harassed, stalked, bullied by a Spano-in-law, but nothing ever happened to her despite having much evidence. This was before she was a Spano. I believe her brothers were cops. She is a true closet psycho, and you never know it. But what's that saying? Wolves in sheep clothing, only in Yonkers. They always like to call people crazy. That's like the thing to try and discredit people. Call them crazy, right? Crazy, conspiracy theorists, crazy. That's what it is. Sometimes you'll go crazy in dealing with this corruption. I can't help but assume who that is. Numerous past and current stories on her. They never seem to hit the press, surprisingly. Well, when the press supports her, That's why. I mean, Yonkers Times, he's the official news source of the city of Yonkers. He's not going to do that. So it's up to Freddie Vasquez. Video, please. Or was it deleted? Yeah. This is so poorly written. I honestly am convinced it was written by a computer program. Thank you. Thank you. I don't care how many words or how many letters a word has that he uses. He's not a good writer. And people have said that, but it's confusing. It doesn't make sense. And that's when, you know, I've seen that before. People try to sound like they're intelligent, so they put all these things together, and it's just, you don't need it. Less is more. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what we say. Even the association of such alleged ghetto behavior is below the standard of any elected officials. Absolutely. The mere fact that there's allegations, and not the first time, many allegations. I spoke about well, there weren't allegations. I actually spoke to the business owner. I was told that she went to a business where her daughter had worked and went off on the owner, threatening to shut him down, having police and building department officials and fire marshal officials harass him, writing tickets to his customers as they pulled up and parked in front of his business, all because her daughter had an issue with him. I spoke to the guy, went to his business. He was very upset. But the biggest thing that he was upset about was he felt that she talked down to him as if he was less than she was. He says, I know I came here as an immigrant, but I started a business and I work hard and I own several businesses. And this woman who talks about, you know, defending minorities and the black community and the Hispanics and all that, but she thinks she's better than the black and Hispanic community that she claims to represent and is actually a part of. You got to see her around the wealthy people. I mean, why else would she be out of her district with developers taking pictures with a shovel? Are you a developer now? Come on. Right? The bar should be set higher, absolutely, not lower. But substandard seems to be the rule of the day for Yonkers electeds. Exactly, and this has been my problem. This is what I've been saying from day one. Are you kidding me? Is this real? This is not a parody? This is not Saturday Night Live? This is really the Yonkers City Council? Unbelievable. From the start, how was the most junior, most uneducated, mind you, she is the chair of the education committee, most uneducated, most inexperienced one nominated to be majority leader of the third largest city in New York State? Exactly. We're not some little small town with a population size of 10. You know how it happened? Because she killed the housing ordinance. That's how. That was the deal. Kill the housing ordinance, we'll name you majority leader. That's the deal. And that's what happened. It's that simple. And they regret it because now she thinks she's the queen. She's renovated her office entirely from the floor to the ceiling. Literally. New hardwood floors, brand new refrigerator and a 70-inch television so she can do something while she's in City Hall. Watch TV. Unbelievable. And how is Tasha the lead of the education committee? Both positions that Tasha holds are an insult to Yonkers taxpayers. Hello. This woman has zero qualifications, never had a job in her life besides her community advocacy and her ghetto retaliation tactics. This had to be maneuvered by the Spano administration, no doubt about it. I don't know about that. I say this is Aris. And that's how he got back in, I hear from people, because he was able to get her elected. You got to get this guy. He's just that good. That's why they call him a genius, right? But you get what you get when you don't go out and vote. You get what you get when you don't go out and vote. That's what happens. Why do you think they try to suppress voters? Try to suppress the vote. Try and keep people from coming out. I mean, look how low the voter turnout is. More people complain about the city of Yonkers and what we need here than actually go out and vote. Don't complain if you don't vote. Both positions should have been held by either Corazon or Williams for majority and the other for education lead. And while they, I mean, even that, I mean, it's better. It's a start. It's a start. All right. Both positions, whatever, Corazon. And while they are significantly better than Tasha, they are also skilled and intellectually deficient for the third largest city in New York State. Right. So, okay, I agree with that. While they are significantly better than Tasha, they are also skilled and intellectually deficient for the third largest city in New York State. There you go. I was going to say I should have finished reading it, right? Come on. That's what it says there. All these city council members need to be stripped of their perks for part-time jobs. What else do they do but attend flag raisings, political functions, campaign fundraisers, and food donations? Who wrote this? You go, person. What benefits does this council provide to you? And they all get pensions, cars, free gas, tolls, and parking tickets are not paid. And God knows what else on our taxes. Enough is enough. We need to demand them to turn in cars first, and secondly, do some meaningful and impactful legislation that benefits the people of Yonkers. And no, I didn't write that. I wish I had. Very good. Absolutely. What have any of them, done for us? And I've been asking this. For how long now? What have they done for us? Those who support them, please, answer me. Unbelievable. Democrat or Republican, nothing but enrich themselves and their associations so sickening. I challenge anyone on the council to name one legislative action that has helped the middle class or the poor, really, in Yonkers. One. Just one. So if you are defending them and you can't name one, then stop defending them. You have no case. You lost. Got to stop this now. You demand so much yet refuse to leave your name. Here's an idiot now. Here's an idiot. How do you expect residents to follow your courageous lead and advice when no one has a clue? As you don't need to know the person's name, Jeffrey or Frankie or whichever one of you is writing this. Hezi. Just listen to the message, you dummy. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it. It's hypocritical that you call out another poet. Yeah, they're going back and forth about the name thing, right? Let's get it popping. That's what someone says. That's right. Let's get it popping. We all know who committed the assault, and hopefully people will finally see her for the classless gutter trash she is. She threatened her council colleagues in a public meeting. She was extremely disrespectful to Sam Borelli in another public meeting. Yes, Sam, and I defended you. Stop playing me, man. I'm gonna see you next. I'm serious. Sam, I'm coming for you next. Please. Giving away someone else's food does not improve your reputation, nor does it indicate that you've accomplished any damn thing. Well, she can't be all that bad all the time for putting Sam, the Casor Borelli, a.k.a. Kanky, in his place. After all, he is the biggest piece of shit in this shit hole, is he? Because you know what? He was a little disrespectful to my wife, too. And the women up in the building department, after my wife left, because she had to tear up a little bit. He's lucky I didn't go crazy there because I'm trying to not make it worse. But women came to her aid and they brought her tissue. And my wife said it feels like they go through that same thing because the way they were so compassionate towards me, as if they know what he's like. So Tasha, I may have to agree with her on that one because, you know, when people are upset and they're mad, they're going to put people's stuff out there. Because you weren't saying it before, Tasha, because I'm sure you knew about it. You approved and were okay with his appointment, even though he doesn't like women. He has a problem with women. He is a sexist. And Sam, I'm going to come for you because you're coming for me. Go ahead. Do what you need to do. Just give me the motivation because I have resources and I have time. Sam Borelli has a Napoleon complex. The little drunk walks around like people should kiss his butt. Where does he go drinking at? Let me know. I'm going to get him all drunk. Before anybody goes kissing Kanki's ass, make sure that the meathead shit sack gets some of that poop dander off his ass. I don't know what that means. Right? What was it? Another napkin assault? Did the victim of the former fire commissioner ever get sued? The Democratic People's Republic of Yonkers, or his attacker being the actual assault was allegedly covered up? I'm not sure what did the victim of the former fire commissioner ever get sued? I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you people are talking and speaking out like that. It's good. But individuals who are commenting some of these things, please reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's put it all out there. Come on. It's time. You can't be scared anymore. They can't get us all. I'm ready. Freedom of Information Act. Request a 911 call. Yeah, we should do that. Let's request a 911 call. Yonkers Police, did you investigate an assault by Tasha Diaz? I mean, she is with Yonkers Tribune, and other city officials did try to throw you guys under the bus recently. It's a popularity contest. Yeah, I know. Whoever gives them tickets to the circus, free food, turkeys, toys, they support. That's the problem. And that's what they do. So what they do is they go to the Board of Elections and get a bunch of ballots and then bring them a bag of food from the pantry. And the people are going to sign the ballot. Oh, thank you. Sure, I'll sign it. That's why Tasha wants you to, Dr. Casada to make sure that students are learning how to write scripts. So when she comes to them one day with a free bag of food, they will know how to sign their name on the ballot. She don't care if they know how to read it, just sign it. That's not okay. It's not okay that people go up to the Westchester County Board of Elections and grab more than their own ballot. And candidates, and I know for a fact, have orchestrated groups of people to go up to the Board of Elections to grab ballots. Get 10 people. They can grab up to 5 each. That's 50 ballots that you now can get signed for you or your candidate, whoever you support. Don't forget the obituary. Who just recently died? They're going to vote for me. I'm going to go up to get their ballot, and I'm going to sign it and send it in because the system won't know that they just recently died. So they're going to count their vote. If you ever wondered how dead people vote. Anyways, 43 minutes, and I'm Freddie Vasquez. I'm up out of here. Thank you to the person who made that comment. You made my night. You are on point. How does it feel, City of Yonkers, that your taxes are going up, that you guys get ticketed all the time, $45 meter tickets or worse? Meanwhile, the city officials who do nothing have a part-time job where they get free car that we pay for, free gas that we pay for. So we're not just paying for our own gas. We're paying for Tasha Diaz's gas, Corazon Pineda's gas, Shanae's gas, Breen's gas, whoever else's gas. And we're paying for our own gas and these ridiculously high prices. They don't pay a penny. And they get a salary that's more than a lot of people make a year. They earn a salary that's higher than the average yearly salary here in the country for their part-time job that comes with all those additional perks, including pensions and health benefits and everything else. And side money, you know. Killed the housing ordinance will give you the majority leader title if you assault your stepfather, you won't get arrested. How dare you beat your stepdad up, Tasha? It's disrespectful. But should we expect anything different? I'm Freddie Vasquez. I hope you've learned something tonight. I hope you learned something when you watch this podcast about our elected officials, Yonkers Police. I support you guys. Always, I got your back. I do. Right? Leave me alone. I got your back. No, I do. I support you guys. I have a tough job. I know police officers, so I understand. Right? But I understand, too, that also there are some bad cops, just like in any business, in any industry. There's always a bad batch. But we can't generalize, for the most part. They do a good job. They do a great job. Look what they did. They didn't want to have to rough that, girl up with the scooter. I mean, but she's trying to run away with a little orange scooter, screaming, I'm just trying to work. He goes, why'd you run? Well, why? I didn't have a license, so what do you think I'm going to do? Why else would I run? Like it's, she ran because she didn't have a license. Okay, all right, never mind, let her go. Right? We have to, as people, also citizens out here, think, take responsibility, use common sense. It's not going to work. And you're in the wrong, so don't make it worse. Don't make it worse. And the city council, you guys giving keys to the city. The police feel a certain way. You guys giving key to the city to individuals that, curse them out, threaten them, right? That's why you guys wanted to hide. That's not okay. So Yonkers Police, remember that. YBA, when you guys go to give your endorsement, remember this. Officers, remember this. Don't forget. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I got your back. This is Based in Politics. Thank you for joining me, folks. Have a great night. I'll see you soon.
Let's get it poppin'.
No! I am Freddie Vasquez. That was your Based in Politics episode for July 20th, 2022. Do our elected officials not appreciate and support our Yonkers police officers? Why they're still working without a contract after 3 years? Why did the city officials not want to show the body cam footage? Making things harder for police officers in the street? Who's right? The police union or city officials? Who do you support? Do you think Tasha Diaz beat her stepdad up? Is that true? Did that happen? And should they get their vehicles taken away? It's about time. I think so. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Let's take their cars away now. When you add gas, insurance, car payments, and cell phone, it has to be another $15,000 per year. Yeah, think about that. Meanwhile, students don't have adequate supplies in the schools. Parents are still trying to figure out their children's IEPs. There's so much going on. But our city council, they're good money. They're good money. They got everything. They got it good. They're set up. Cars, blonde hair, chains, straight up rappers. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Peace out.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
That's a lot of stars. Hopefully, we're going to get to 3,500 stars. When I get there, I will be happy. And at the end of the broadcast, I will send you a personal message.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey. Like I said, it's political games that are being played. Like I said, political games that are being played.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to Basement Politics Unfiltered.
Are we? Let's make it happen, guys. Make me happy today.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
No!